Marhaba, I am Sahar Morkos. I'm Palestinian by origin and I live here in the UK. Today I'm going to share with you a very tasty and delicious recipe for making garlic bread. However, I think it's a bit a healthier version as I'm not using any butter in it. I'm using only olive oil, and as well I'm not using any yeast. If you do like my recipe, can you please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel? I would really appreciate it if you share the channel as well. Thank you so much. Okay, this video was shot during the pandemic of the COVID-19. I hope we will have so many memories of it and that we will forget about it. Now, as we hardly can find any yeast, I decided to do some garlic bread with different flavors without using yeast. So I did an old recipe that we used to do in the Holy Land, which is using yogurt. Yogurt has got that fermenting nature in it. So I used yogurt, baking powder and baking soda. Why I use baking powder and baking soda? Not because it will ferment at all, because I didn't want that soury taste, so the baking soda would balance the flavor. And here in this case, the baking powder is working as a fermenting or as a raising agent. So I used here 270 grams of flour, which is 2 cups, measuring cups, 1 tablespoon of yogurt, and a sprinkle of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, and a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and water. I used 30% of the amount of water. So if you are using 250, that means 110 even is better. So you need to mix it all together, and if you feel it's going too sticky, leave it a little bit to dry and then go back. I had to stop doing it just for seconds, for a minute maximum, until it combines itself. Now this dough has to be a bit sticky, so you shouldn't be adding a lot of flour. So what I did is I left it sticky, but however, to manage it well, I added a bit of flour on the top just to make it easier for me to handle it. So it didn't make it like, a firm dough. And after I managed to do it all, I left it to ferment for half an hour. Now, after half an hour, you sprinkle some flour and you roll it into a sausage roll. This gave me around 9 rolls. After dividing it to rolls, you need to dip it into three. I'm using 3 different flavors, so it's up to you. If you are doing like 20, you can use 5 rolls. But here I used only 3. So I used, in the Holy Land, we use mainly garlic, not butter. We do use butter, don't get me wrong, but we pride our olive oil because we are the land of olive trees. So I used olive oil with a bit of powdered garlic. You can use fresh garlic, but it has to be really, really mashed well. And you can add a bit of salt and pepper to that. And I used as well tomato passata. The second one was tomato passata with the herby garlic powder, salt and pepper. And the last one, pesto. You can make your own pesto sauce or ready-made. Here I use ready-made. So I dip each bowl into the sauce and I arrange them into the baking tray lined with the baking paper and sprinkled with flour. So when you finish all your bowls, dipping them, you just cover it with cling film and leave it to ferment for another 30 to 40 minutes. It will not double its size as much, don't worry. It will still cook really nicely and it wouldn't be dense from the inside. It will still be very soft. So here I left it and I'm gonna bake it in the oven. I started at temperature of 180. And then when it started rising up, I added my cheese, a clay pot or an oven pot, and I added in that the cheese. The cheese that, how I did that, I used cheddar cheese, Parmesan cheese with the lefts of all the dippings. I mixed all the lefts like the pesto, the tomato sauce, mixed with that and put it in the oven for an extra 10 minutes on high heat until my cheese melt. And this is how it looks like. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the recipe and subscribe, and I would like to hear your comments regarding it. Thank you.